Hey guys, so I'm kind of just sitting here and it got me thinking kind of just about what I'm all about. And I've posted a couple of videos, just little videos of things about anxiety, but I haven't really talked about my story. And I really want this video to be kind of how I got through my anxiety and how it's, I kind of view it how addiction is viewed. Like, it's always gonna be there, I feel like, but there are ways to manage it and there's ways to pretty much make it so it's like non-existent. It's still gonna be there, like a little thing being like, pay attention to me, but like you learn ways to like just kind of fight it and work against it. So, or at times with it actually. So I just kind of wanted to talk about it. So basically, I have always been an anxious person from as long as I can remember. I remember being so little, just worrying about everything. Like, I worried if my mom was gonna come home. I worried if, like I heard anything. Yeah, like, I would just always worry all the time about everything. Like, I just really just worried all the time. And I really think it was because of my childhood. Like, I didn't have a very stable childhood. I am not going to go too much into depth about that, but I just didn't have a stable childhood, so it makes sense because, I'm studying psychology, so it makes sense why I was so anxious all the time. But I was just always anxious, and of course, being like a child, I thought that was normal. Like, I thought it was normal just to feel anxious, and it's crazy because I remember being in like, how old was I? Like, seriously, I was in like 3rd or 4th grade feeling like so anxious. And so, when you're so anxious and you have kind of like a derealization where you're like, your body is trying to like fight off like a predator or fight off like something that's making you anxious, so the human body has that to like fight off, so you kind of pull yourself back from reality. I remember experiencing that when I was in elementary school. So that's how crazy my anxiety was when I was just a little child. And I remember getting like chest pains and like full on like just not good feelings. And I remember having pneumonia one time, actually, and I was like out of school for a while, but I just remember thinking like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Like, what if the teacher changed up all of everything she does? Like, what if I come back and people make fun of me? Like, what if everything's so different? And I remember thinking all of these things in elementary school. So like, the transition from 6th grade to junior high, of course, was scary for any person, any child going to junior high. So that just was amplified for me because I was so anxious all the time. Then when I got in junior high, I just remember certain moments of when I was just feeling so anxious. And there was one time in particular where I had I think it was more of like a business class. Like, it was something where we like learned technology and we learned a bunch of stuff. And I remember when I was sitting there at home, because I was at home because I didn't feel well. Mind you, I was sick all the time, and I really think it had to deal with anxiety because I just would work myself up that I would get sick. So I was at home, and I remember, like, I think I only took like 2 days off because I just did not feel good. And I remember thinking, I have to do my homework, but then I have to talk to the teacher and tell him that I wasn't here and like ask for that work to be made up. And I remember like replaying this situation in my head, like, oh my gosh, like so many times. And like, it looks like I'm gonna cry because it's like, it was so painful for me at the time. Like, I literally felt like that was the worst thing in the world. Like, that was my world ending, trying to talk to my teacher and explain to him how I was feeling. And I remember like going into class and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And so I start to tell him, I'm like, you know, I wasn't here, I wasn't feeling well, like, is there anything I need to make up? He's like, oh yeah, like, he was the nicest person, human ever. And I was like, what? Like, that was supposed to be a disaster. Like, he was supposed to yell at me, like, something was supposed to happen, and nothing. And so I was like, that's, I think, kind of when something went on in my head, like, maybe you're overreacting, like maybe it's a little bit of anxiety. But again, I was in junior high, I didn't really understand psychology. And then like kind of throughout like all of junior high, I still had like a kind of like roughish junior high, like not like junior high experience, but like home life was still kind of on the rocks. And then I went into high school, and that's kind of when everything amplified a bit. Now this is also when I met my husband in high school, and that like was the most amazing experience. Like meeting him has helped me so much. But sorry, like my hair is like meh. But I met him in high school, and my high school experience was great. Like I loved it, every bit of it. Now the only problem was when he wasn't gonna be there. So like there were times where, you know, like of course like he got sick or he couldn't be there for the whole day or like things like that. And there was this one time in particular, because with me, which you guys are kind of like realizing as I'm telling the story, is that there are certain moments that I just like remember having crazy amounts of anxiety. So I remember this one night where he called me and was like, hey, you know, I'm really not feeling well. And he already knew that I kind of did have anxiety, because he was like scared to tell me he wasn't gonna be at school, which now sounds so stupid. But he was like, you know, I'm not gonna be there, because I think he hurt his leg, because he BMXs, like not as much as he used to, but he does. And I remember him being like, you know, I'm not gonna be there, like I'm sorry. And I was like, can you try to make it, like, can you try? Because my biggest fear was just like being alone, like the unknown. Like that's what anxiety is. Like you never know how things are gonna turn out. So I was like, if I'm alone, like what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna sit? Like we had a specific place we sat, a specific time we met. Like after this class, we met and we walked to the lunchroom, and everything was hunky-dory. And I was like, you can't make it, like you can't just like hobble. Like I was so mean. Like looking back, I was like, that is the meanest thing. And I just like, I had friends to hang out with too, but it's like the fact that I had to like go find them like after class, and I had to go arrange that. Like people with anxiety understand what I'm saying. Like they do. I know you guys do. So like that was just so extremely like scary for me. So I mean, there's those certain moments that like freaked me out. And then that's also when a lot of stuff happened in my home life. So not exactly school, but like in my home life, that I actually ended up moving in with my now husband, Caesar. So there was like all that happened. And during that time, that's when my anxiety was probably like, it was weird, because it was mellow, but it was also very high. There were times where like I was perfectly fine and I felt so calm, because I was living with, you know, my now husband, so like my then boyfriend and his family, and I liked them. I liked living there. I felt safe. I felt like I actually had a place to be safe and kind of be comfortable in. But then I also had really bad anxiety because I was away from my family, and I was trying to figure out so many things kind of like on my own. And my kind of, sorry, I keep just playing with my crystal, but like my kind of thing is that when I was in high school, I was dealing with so many things. I was dealing with a new relationship with my now husband. I just moved out with him, which is crazy as a high schooler. I started my job, like my first job in high school. I was working crazy amount of hours, like close to 30 while going to high school. I just got a car, like all these things I was learning on my own because I was moved out with my boyfriend at the time, now husband. And so, like, learning all these things and feeling like you're isolated because you're not with your family. And my family had a bunch of crap going on, which is why I moved out. Like, there was a lot of kind of substance abuse happening and just not good situations, which increased the anxiety. Like, so many bad things. And my relationship with my mom was ruined, and, like, so many things that my anxiety was also at a very much high when it wasn't, like, calm when I was, you know, like, hanging out at my now husband's house. Well, like, my boyfriend at the time, family's house. So it was very up and down, up and down, up and down. And I just learned how to kind of manage it, though. So I learned what was the anxiety and what wasn't. That's when I started really getting into psychology, and I had a psychology class, and I knew I wanted to do something in the field, but I just didn't know what. So at the end of my high school career, I guess, like, graduation time, I knew that I wanted to do psychology. I remember doing, like, a career shadow thing at a, like, mental health place, and I loved it. Like, everyone was so sweet, and their passion and incredible joy for other people, like, shined. Like, I've never met an organization like that. It was a nonprofit, I believe, and, well, so long ago, like 7 years ago, I think. So yeah, it was about like 5-ish years ago where I, like, career shadowed at this place, and it was just amazing. Like, I knew that's what I wanted to be a part of. Then I started going to college. I started going to the local community college after graduation, and that's also when I was working a lot. I was working at Ross Dress for Less, but at, like, this crazy busiest one. Like, it was known for being the busiest one ever, and, like, in the district thing. And sorry, I'm just kind of, like, chilling. You guys are probably like, what the heck? And so I was working there, like, crazy amount of hours, like, way overtime. I was going to college, like, so many things, and I was kind of just really figuring out who I was. And I went for about a year, just kind of going back and forth, not knowing what I wanted to do. Like, I always knew, I always gravitated towards psychology and kids. Always. Those two things. It never occurred to me that I could choose both, that I didn't have to be split, like, they go together. So I tried social work, I tried just psychology, I tried teaching for a while. I literally was on the track to be a teacher, and then I stopped. So there were so many different things, and then I finally decided, hey Teresa, go with your original thought, school counseling. Bing! Like, come on. And this is also when I still had big amounts of anxiety. Now, I just kind of, like, stop and just, like, really think, because this is also when I kind of had, not a breakdown, but this is when I experienced the worst amount of anxiety. And I kind of, like, get quiet, and it bugs me. It bugs me that I went through this, and I went through it again recently. And I don't know, like, to others it doesn't seem like much. Like, what I went through recently doesn't seem like it's big, but it is. It's a big thing. So basically, I think it was at the end of my 3rd year. And I'm sorry if these are all in clips. Like, I have zero memory on my phone, so I apologize. But, so I think it was, like, kind of at the end of my 1st year. I hope I said 1st instead of 3rd, because it was the end of my 1st year in college. And I was burnt out. Like, I can't even explain how burnt out I was. Like, so burnt out. And basically what had happened was I was just going. I was going to school and I was working all the time, and then I changed my job to like where I'm at now. Like, I literally have been there for like a long time and I love it so much. But so I changed my job to that, and I feel like since I got relaxed at that point, that my body caught up with me. And I actually learned recently in my abnormal psych class that your body, like if you experience anxiety, your body is actually more likely, or you are actually more likely to have an anxiety attack when you're calm. So like when you're on vacation or when you're like at a spa or something, you're more likely to have an anxiety attack then, because you actually give your body time to relax and think about what you've been pushing off for so long. So that's actually a thing, which I didn't know that. So I finally relaxed and kind of wound down, I guess is what you can say. And basically I kind of shut down. And I became severely, I would say severely depressed and anxious. I couldn't sleep. My heart was just beating all the time. Couldn't eat. I was scared of everything. Like, looking back, it's hard to explain, but I just laid in bed. Luckily, my work was offering approved time off, so I didn't get in trouble at all at work because I just got everything approved all the time. There's no other way to explain it unless you've been in that situation. So for my others that are watching this that have been through things like that, that have had anxiety, severe depression, kind of what I can relate it to now is if you watch Teen Mom, Caitlin, what she's going through, that's kind of what I can relate it to. Not wanting to get off the couch, not wanting to get out of the bed. Just in my own head that I couldn't think of anything else. And so my relationship with my now husband really suffered from that, because like, not like, it wasn't anything like, oh, we're gonna break up. No, like, it's just when you're in that state of mind, you can't connect with other people. Like, there's just no way. Like, you can't have relationships. You're focused on all of the bad things happening, that there's no way you can have strong relationships, because that's all your mind is focused on. And it's not that you want to focus on that, it's just what happens. So that was the darkest. And I literally was like that for about 3 months. And I finally got better. I saw like one kind of counselor lady. It didn't help me. And I know this sounds crazy, but for so many people, counseling, seeing a psychologist, seeing a psychiatrist helps them. So if you are struggling, if you need help, see a professional and see if it works for you. Listen to them, hear them out, see if it helps. For me, it didn't help me. Both times that I've seen someone. When I legit talk about my problems and I'm just sitting there being like, this is wrong with me, this is wrong with me, this is wrong with me, fix me. It does not help me. My body hears that and I freak out and I feel 10 times worse than if I just didn't say anything. So it did not help me, but I kind of got the courage up to just keep fighting. So I got through that and everything was hunky-dory. Everything was fine. I was perfectly fine. Years went by. So years and years and years. I would say about 2 years. 2 years went by. Up until just recently, another thing hit the effing fan. Same thing. Like, I don't even know how I didn't think that this would happen again. And the thing is that if I just listen to my body and really tuned in and understood who I was, I probably could have prevented it. Probably. Because even though our bodies have a mind of their own, I know who I am now and I know what to do, and I have fail-safes in place to kind of prevent it from happening. So from what I was just talking about, like my first time it happened all the way up until now, it's been like 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, maybe 2 or 3. And same thing, same freaking thing, except this time I went to work every day because married woman, working woman, I need to make money. But kind of looking back at it, working while I like was feeling that way kind of helped it, because I was working my mind. I wasn't just sitting there being a slug, like sleeping. Like, I was working my mind, even though it was so effing hard. Like, let me tell you guys, if you don't believe in anxiety, if you don't believe in depression, whatever, but let me tell you how effing hard it is to function when you're going through a bad spell. Like, it's so hard. Like, you cannot think of anything else. All you want to think about and talk about is your problems, because they're weighing on your mind. You just want to be negative. Like, you don't want to be negative. You want to be something different. You want to be someone different. But all your mind is thinking is negativity. And that's it. And you think something is wrong with you. You think the world would be better without you. And that's not the case. But your mind says it is. So that happened again. And here I am today to say that I think it's literally not 100% gone, like I said at the beginning. It's not going to be 100% gone, but I have done so many things to fight for my life and make sure that I live the most beautiful life that I can live. Now, I've mentioned this in my previous videos, but I have been exercising like every day, getting those endorphins in, telling my body that I love it, showing it the respect that it deserves. It needs that. Your bodies need exercise as much as, like, I know when you're feeling down in the dumps, you want to just kind of chill out and relax, but that's not what your body needs at a time like that. When it's like sitting on the couch is the best idea, never talking to anyone is the best idea. That is not the best idea. Isolating yourself is the best idea. No, that is not the best idea. And more people when you are feeling like that. Like, you need to be around more people. So I'm just going to kind of name off things that I've been doing. So exercise, like I mentioned. Meditation every morning. Every morning I set my alarm for 10 minutes and just meditate and set my day's intention. I talk to source energy, God, whatever you believe in. I talk to God and I ask for, guidance throughout the day. I ask for certain things. I claim things for myself: peace, love, prosperity, confidence, energy, a bunch of things. I pray every day. And again, it doesn't matter what you believe in. Whatever you believe in it, and believe in it hard. Like, believe in it. And I pray every day. I practice good things. I'm kind to other people. I surround myself in positive quotes. I literally every morning after I meditate, I will look on Facebook, I will look on Twitter, I will look on Pinterest for just positive quotes to surround myself in, to drown myself in, just positivity. I wear my crystal that I just got that promotes peace within and peace within myself. I wear my meditation beads. Let me show you my meditation beads. I also use a lot of essential oils to help with anxiety and to help with just overall peace and emotional well-being. I try to participate in things that help me get closer to myself spiritually. So I try to go to like festivals to immerse me in new cultures. I try to read new books like The Four Agreements or You Are a Badass, or just different things that really kind of open up my mind. The Alchemist is also another one that I need to get all the way through, but it's a good book. And just things like that that really help connect me. Now, also, like I said, always surround yourself with people. Even if your mind is playing tricks on you and is like, surround yourself with people that love you, love other people, and just spread that peace and that love. And I literally hope you find this helpful. Kind of as an update, I feel so peaceful, and I'm not even being stupid. Like, I swear from the bottom of my heart, and I know that I can come across like, oh, she's so just positive, like she doesn't know what she's talking about, like she's just cheesy. But the bottom of my heart, I'm so happy and I'm so at peace, and I'm working every day to even be more peaceful and more loving and more just a better human. And I can tell you that every day is a fight if you're dealing with anxiety every day, but it gets so much better and life is beautiful, and mine is almost completely gone. Like, I feel like it's always gonna be there, like a little devil on my shoulder, kind of like, but like a friendly one, and it kind of acts up at times, but you have to learn how to shut it down and tell yourself, kind of ground yourself and bring yourself back to reality. So those are a couple of my tips. That's my story. I know it was long and it was cut up into bits, but I hope you like it, and I hope that at least one person's watching this. So you guys are awesome, and namaste. Have a great day. Bye.